kind of a busy night tonight. The store manager was here when I got here tonight, which is unusual. I haven't seen him in a few weeks. They moved the ice chest like we talked about before. They moved it down quite a ways. So, I mean, if you come out, you have to, it's probably 30 or 40 feet from the front door that you're going to have to like go down the sidewalk and try and get around the carts that are there. Anyway, they had to close the fuel center down early tonight, and I mean, I think she was done at probably 8:30. It was before the store manager left, because her version of the story is that second shift, I call him second shift, the closer doesn't like to be scheduled closing, and so he called him. I don't know. Anyway, I know that they made some comment that you're not allowed to schedule somebody, I think, more than 6 days in a row without a break, because union. And then what was it? But the way it's broken up, so if you're like, the system won't catch it. If you work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's only 4 days on this schedule, and then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that's 7 days in a row, but the computer doesn't think it's 7 days in a row, because you know, a multi-billion-dollar corporation can't get a scheduling program to work. Like, it's ridiculous. Yes, dear, I'm on the curb. Let's go. So there's that. They closed down the fuel early, so then I, being in customer service, I keep getting phone calls like, why are the lights off? And when are we gonna, when can the pumps open again? Because, the pumps usually stay open until 10. And weirdly enough, people just there's cones up here right next to all of the pumps, and people just keep driving up and moving the cones. I still don't know what they think the cones are going to do. Obviously, they're not doing anything. What else did we do today? I ripped my shirt. I got it caught on something dumb, and of course, I move at about 100 miles an hour. No big deal. As of right now, my last day will actually be Friday, because, just because. That's the last day she has me, and I told her no more after that for now. I really don't like being just busy, and that's just busy. Like, I've had to stop. I could have continued sewing today until 5:30 or 6, and instead I had to stop at 3:30 to go do this. So yeah, time to change. It's fine. I like what I do. It's fun, except when those teenagers fight with me, and then they get lost, and then I try and figure out where they went, and realize then they went in the bathroom for 20 minutes, and then they come in 20 minutes late. And so then you go and you tell the store manager, like, hey dude, came in 20 minutes late. And there's a place in our little, they're called zebras, there's a place in there to say, who called in sick and who didn't show up today, or no call, no show, who came in, like, you can log all of that. Nobody does. I don't know what it's doing there. Nobody does. Which, again, I don't get. So a lot of times, so what you have to do is, when you call in, you have to talk to a store manager. Well, then they don't always necessarily tell your manager. So your manager might be like, well, how come so-and-so's not here? And so then you keep, has anybody heard from blah, blah, blah? Because he's not here yet. Come to find out, the reason he's not here is because he called in and told somebody. But anyway, that didn't happen today, but that happens a lot. No, he just regularly comes in late and doesn't really think it's any big deal that he's late. And so today he was 20 minutes late. I made sure to explain to the store manager, like, dude came in 20 minutes late today. That's kind of a big deal, because a lot of times we wait, this person's coming in at 7 so that we know that then when he comes in, you can go on break. That's how tight the schedule is, which is ridiculous. So then I'm thumbing through the schedule, because I don't know if you've met me or not, but like to know things. I like to find out things. I like to be nosy, I guess. And so I was just thumbing through the schedule to see, what was happening in the next few days. And Saturday, which I don't know if anybody has traveled to a grocery store lately, but Saturdays tend to be a fairly busy day. I mean, yes, our store is tiny, but again, I repeat, fairly busy day. They have 2 people in the morning as baggers, 2 baggers for the entire store. They are both good at their job, but they're not the youngest of ladies. And they're supposed to, when it's, my auto says it's 79 right now, although I believe it's really humid outside right now. So they are going to have these 2 girls, these 2 older ladies, they're going to have them be the only people to to get carts and to help do carry out if they need to, or to bag groceries until the young man, he's 17, he comes in at 2. Now there is one more young man who works there who has Down syndrome. He is an amazing worker. He's not always a huge fan of bagging groceries, so he tends to stay outside and just gather the carts, which we are all very, very grateful for. I think he only works like I think it's just 2 to 6 or something. It's just like a 4-hour shift. It might be 10 to 6 would be 8 hours. It's not that. Maybe 10 to 4. But I know he doesn't work more than 4 to 6 hours at a time. The problem is we really have to watch and make sure that he doesn't, that he comes in regularly, because he tends to stay out there because he wants to get every single last cart, and then he tends to not remember that he's supposed to come in and stay cool and drink water and those sorts of things. So again, very, very good worker, but also not one who is, I'm going to say, reliably inside bagging groceries. It's just not his favorite task. And then the next gentleman comes in at 2, and he works until 10. He closes, which is fine. But that also means that, again, after the ladies, one lady leaves at 3:30 and one lady leaves at 5:30. And then there's only young man the entire rest of the day. So from 5:30 to 10, there is one bagger. And let's see, 2. Since he's a minor, he's got to have his breaks exactly on time. So 2, 3, at 4 o'clock, he's got to have a 15-minute break. At 6 o'clock, so that means that after the ladies leave and he's the only one there, he has to take a 30-minute break. Like a lunch. And then he'll have to take another break again later. And so the only person then that's going to be able to be there to cover for him is going to have to be the floor supervisor. So instead of doing all of her floor supervisory duties, which don't necessarily take you away from, you're up front in the registers. It's more of like a management shovel position. She also jumps on registers when she needs to, in order to, like if the lines get too long, she can jump on a register and help people through. So I asked, I was like, well, why did this person, because you can see an eraser mark, and I said, well, can they not work that day? Like, what happened? And I was told that they were overscheduled on their hours, and so Kroger's are allotted so many hours. And I know my numbers are going to be like way off, but say they're allowed to have 100 hours for the front end. It's probably like 500, but say they're allowed to have 100 hours for the front end. And then they have scheduled as much as they can schedule, and they're not allowed to have any more hours. you know, they're like throttling hours. It boggles my mind. And I understand business enough to know that you don't want, you know, you don't need 10 people at our store, especially not like on a Thursday night. You don't need 10 people there until 10 o'clock at night. But for the love of all things that are holy, you're going to tell me that you didn't need more than 2 older ladies as baggers on a Saturday? Like, what the heck? That makes 0 sense. So now you have these suits in an office, in a cubicle somewhere, very far removed from the local stores, making decisions that inversely impact customers. Not one customer has said, really am glad that the carts are now outside. That is awesome. Not one customer has said, I am so glad you moved the ice another 20 feet down the sidewalk. Not one. And yet we're sticking to our guns. And at the beginning, the store manager said, oh yeah, no, if they have any problems, you just let them come talk to me. And after he got so much backlash, because we were telling everybody, you know, call 1-800-Kroger's and you know, say your piece. And they were like, well, then he told us, he said, no, they need to come and talk to me. Don't tell them to talk to the Kroger store. And so then we had everybody going in and talking to him. And then he was like, yeah, you just go ahead and handle that. I mean, it was a corporate decision, so you just tell them to talk to corporate. It was not a corporate decision. Corporate never called and said, hey, this city, like your Kroger needs to do this. We were fine. Actually, people liked it that way, because if the carts are inside, they don't get rained on, they don't get bird pooped on, they don't get hot. I pulled one, and it was a black cart. I pulled one as I backed into my parking spot. There was one behind my truck, like somebody left it in the parking spot. So I got out and moved it, and then I went, when I was done parking, and pushed it into the rest of the row. It was hot, sitting out in the sun. Nobody doesn't want to put their kid in that. Nobody wants to put groceries in a hot grocery cart. And just sometimes it happens because it sits in the cart corral for a little while. Well, sure, it happens. But most of the time, then by the time you put them inside, they've at least come to room temperature enough that they're not scalding. The whole point in this is that a lot of times corporate people do what looks great on paper, which doesn't make any customer service sense at all for any reason. And then you have all these customers coming in and calling and saying, hey, why are they doing this? We really liked it the way it was before. Not one person is saying that what you have done is good, but you're not going to change it back. It's weird, because I guess a business that's just so freaking big just doesn't have to care. I mean, even Amazon has, I don't know, just, I want to say better customer service. Not that our customer service locally is, in the respects of, if you come in and need to return something, or if, you know, stuff like that, but just customer care. I think maybe that's what you need to actually give a crap about your customers and what they want, and not just what you think that you would like better. It's weird, but there's a lot of businesses that have lost that nowadays. You need to get back to that, giving a crap about the customers.